Hey everyone, this is Dylan, and today we're going to be doing a movie review for you guys. So the movie I'm reviewing today is Rotting in the Sun. Now this is a movie that came out in 2023, and it was directed by Sebastian Silva. And it's kind of this meta black comedy that is not really for everyone, but I think that if it sounds like it's for you, then it's probably for you, because I think that a lot of people would really enjoy this. But I feel like there are a couple things we'll talk about a little bit later that could turn some people off. Let's get into the synopsis of this movie. So this is, like I said, a meta black comedy. It's meta in the regards that our main character is Sebastian Silva, who is the director of this movie, and he is playing an exaggerated, fictionalized version of himself. And then the other main character is Jordan Firstman, who is also playing an exaggerated, fictionalized version of himself. So our main character that we're following is Sebastian Silva, who is a filmmaker and director who is living in Mexico City. And he is depressed. He has had the joy of life taken away from him. He really is only living for his dog Chima, and he is addicted to Kay. And he has real thoughts of unaliving himself, and continuously throughout the course of this movie is saying that that's what he is thinking about. And people like the superintendent type person of the building that he lives in, Mateo, kind of is like, yeah, go get that phenobarbital or pentobarbital. And like it's a running kind of joke in this, but nobody really understands like how deep it goes besides Sebastian. And so he is told by someone to go to this gay nude beach in Mexico and just kind of relax, have some fun, and just kind of chill. So he goes to this beach, he's just hanging out, and somebody happens to be drowning in the ocean. Everyone's just kind of standing around, but Sebastian goes into the ocean to try to save this person, and then the person gets saved by somebody else, and Sebastian gets caught in a riptide and needs his own saving. And so once Sebastian gets saved, he comes out, and the guy who he was going to try to save shows up and wants to thank him, and it happens to be Jordan Firstman, who is kind of this vapid social media personality. And he's apparently very familiar with Sebastian Silva's work. And he is like, I really enjoy you. I was just watching your movie the other day. This is kind of like the stars are aligning. I have a pitch for you. So he goes into this pitch of a television show. Jordan's pitch to Sebastian was a Curb Your Enthusiasm, but make it positive. So Sebastian's not really feeling it. Jordan was like, hey, come to this party that's happening tonight, and we'll just kind of hang out. We'll talk a little bit more about this project and kind of see what all there might be for a partnership with each other and getting this project made. Sebastian's a little reluctant. He decides to go to this party, and there happens to be some K there, and Sebastian is like, oh, don't mind if I do. And so Jordan records this video of him taking some K, posts it on Instagram, and Sebastian's very upset about that. He kind of just goes off on Jordan, calls him vapid, calls him self-absorbed, unfunny, all of that. And Jordan's just kind of takes it and thinks that Sebastian's joking. And so Sebastian leaves and goes home. So at home, he's got the superintendent of the owner, whatever, of the building that he lives in, Mateo, who's currently doing construction on this building. And then he has the housekeeper, Vero. She's a very nice person, and she really seems to care about Sebastian and really doesn't like the way that he's going. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Once Sebastian gets back to his apartment, a couple days later, he has a Zoom meeting with HBO executives. So he goes on this Zoom meeting, he gives his pitches for the stuff that he's very interested in doing. One was like an alien drama, and the HBO people just really weren't feeling any of the projects that he had pitched. In the last-ditch effort, he kind of brings up this potential partnership with Jordan Firstman. And as soon as he says Jordan Firstman, the HBO executives are like, oh, Jordan Firstman, wow, cool. So after this call, Sebastian gets on the phone with Jordan Firstman and says, let's do this project. And he invites Jordan Firstman to come to live with him in the apartment while they're developing this project so that they could officially pitch it to wherever. So this apartment is pretty bare. There's only a bed, and he decides that he's going to go up to the storage on the roof and bring down a couch for Jordan to sleep on while he's there. So he asks Vero to come and help him get this couch. They're going upstairs, and Vero's in a hurry. She needs to go to a quinceañera. So as they're going up to get the couch, something happens that alters the course of this movie, and I'm going to leave the synopsis at that. And I'll mention it in the spoiler portion of this video, so definitely stay around if you've already seen this and you want to know a little bit more. So, like I said, this movie might be a barrier to some people. This is a Mubi exclusive. So this is on the streaming service Mubi. As far as I can tell, it has not been released on physical media anywhere. I hope that it does at some point get released on physical media, because I'd definitely like to watch this. And I know Mubi is starting to release some more of their exclusive stuff. They definitely have the ability to release it if they want to, so hopefully that's something that they end up doing. And this movie is, I will warn people, half in Spanish and half in English. So there are subtitles, and I know that's a barrier for some people who want to watch something but they don't want to read subtitles. So just so you're aware, that is the case. Jordan Firstman is, as far as I can tell, like an American actor, and he doesn't speak Spanish, but Sebastian Silva does speak Spanish. So all of our scenes where Sebastian is at his home alone are the ones that are in Spanish. And then when Jordan Firstman kind of comes into the picture, then English is the main language that's spoken there. This movie does have some graphic adult content. It was something that I didn't realize was in this movie until I watched it, and I was like, whoa. So there is some unsimulated sexual scenes in this movie. It is only 2 scenes in this movie. There is a lot of male nudity in the beginning of this movie, and then there's some towards the end of this movie, but I would say it's not grotesque in the way that it's like fills up this entire movie. It's limited to very certain scenes, and it's nothing that's like crazy, and it doesn't really take away from this movie, but that is something that is here if that's something that might bother you. And it also revolves around 2 queer men. So Sebastian Silva is queer, as well as Jordan Firstman, so that's also something that I think should be brought up. And then, like I said, this is a black comedy movie, so there are lots of dark thoughts and sequences that have to do with unaliving oneself. That's like the main like dark comedy portions of this movie. I would say this movie isn't laugh out loud funny, but it's funny in almost like the absurdity of what's going on. And I'm not going to talk about like the big twist that happens in this movie, but like after that, this movie gets very absurd. And that's kind of what makes it funny. All right, so this is your spoiler warning. If you don't want to hear spoilers for this movie, then you can click off. If not, stick around. So let's talk about what actually happened in this twist. I think it was actually a really good subversion. Because this twist happens about 30 minutes into the movie, or somewhere around there. But, like, you go through the beginning of this movie and you're like, he's gonna unalive himself with the pentobarbital, and then to have it that Vero accidentally knocks him over the edge of the balcony and he falls to his death is just crazy. And then the whole, like, last half of this movie is just Vero trying to figure out what to do with his body, and that's where, like, the absurdity and the humor comes in, because it's absurd that she's trying to hide this body, and then people are trying to not find it, but they're going to where she hid it. And literally the title of this movie is Rotting in the Sun, which ends up happening, at least for a little bit. We don't really see the body after, like, the beginning stages of it being dead. So it's mostly covered in a tarp. So you don't really see too much. At one point you see a vulture potentially eating part of it, but that scene didn't really read to me as actually happening. It kind of seemed like it might have been, like, in her mind, she's, like, envisioning this. And also, it's like, you have a body on the roof, and people are on, like, the rooftop, but is on, like, a higher section of this roof. And it's like, it's been days, or maybe even a week or so. That body's gotta be smelling. How has nobody seen or mentioned that there is a smell that, like, that's a little bit of, like, okay, well, you're gonna have to suspend your disbelief, I guess. But I really thought that this movie was entertaining. It subverted expectations, and it was a really smart movie. I think that the characters, like, Jordan Firstman was unlikable, but I actually really like Sebastian Silva. And then Jordan kind of got a little bit better after, like, you could tell that he really cared about what was going on and trying to find Sebastian. And during the one scene where there's multiple people that Jordan has invited over, and he finds Sebastian's phone and wallet on his, like, bedside table, and is like, whoa, we gotta stop this, we gotta leave. Like, you can tell that Jordan really cared. And so overall, I really liked this movie. I ended up giving it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. If I watched this movie last year, it would have made my top 15 list, I think is what I ended up doing. It would have made that list. It's gonna make my top discoveries. It might be my number one. But that is it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys have seen Rotting in the Sun, or if you've watched anything else on Mubi that might be interesting that you would recommend that I check out. And remember, if you're not already subscribed and you'd like to be, please hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a like if you liked it. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day. Bye.